good morning, everyone. I am Shubham Agarwal and welcome again to our current affairs series, daily current affairs series जो हम ले रहे हैं. And we all thank you for the enormous feedback that you people are giving us. You are appreciating our videos. जो live नहीं दे सकते वो शाम को अपने अच्छे reviews दे रहे हैं हमें. So that's really heartening and this will keep us motivating to bring up the good work with you all people. I hope I am audible to you all. So आज का हमारा टॉपिक, today's topic is about you people. Is not about you people today. It's about you people tomorrow, after a year, after you become an IAS officer, after you become a civil servant. So you all must have thought something in your mind that why would I want to become an IAS officer? I wish this was an interactive live class, physical class, so that I could ask you people कि आप में से कौन-कौन IAS officer क्यों बनना चाहता है? Obviously, the first obvious answer could be, sir, हमारे लिए अच्छे-अच्छे रिश्ते आएंगे. लेकिन those relationships, those rishtas which you are expecting after by virtue of becoming a civil servant, by virtue of becoming an IAS officer, ये रिश्ते आपको सिर्फ एक इंसान के साथ नहीं बनाने हैं, आपको पूरे देश के साथ बनाना है, because you will be recruited to the elite most Indian administrative services. So civil services देखने में बहुत अच्छा लगता है, नाम बहुत बड़ा है, but when you actually get into the services, there are some things that prop up in your services. The first and the foremost thing is ego. See, Narayan Murthy, Infosys ke chairman, he absolutely said that Indians have the highest amount of ego per unit achievement. The other day I told you that a civil servant, the first lecture which we took, the civil servant has the highest amount of achievement per unit time, per unit age, per unit paisa, per unit energy spent. So highest amount of achievement comes to you per unit age. You are very young and you become a district collector. Lekin Narayan Murthy also said one thing, that with that high achievement, you have a high amount of ego. The higher the achievement, the higher the ego. You forget why were you actually instated into this elite coveted services. You forget that your prime kartavya, your prime role is still serving the civilians की सेवा करना is your prime kartavya. Sheelam param bhushanam. Character is the highest virtue, and that character, you have to have that compassionate character. You have to have that attitude. Unfortunately, many of the civil servants, they think that lal batti lag gaya, nila batti lag gaya, and all that. You get that ambassador of a DM and you know you are left, right, and center. You do not think कि ये आम आदमी जो है मुझे इसी के लिए काम करना है. And this is the today's topic. This is the today's initiative that we are coming up with the civil services reforms. So there are some internal issues with your services and there are some external issues which are actually not in your hand. If a politician troubles you, that is not in your hand. If you yourself become corrupt and egoistic, that is in your hands. So personal virtues and the external virtues, the external, let us say, environment in which you people have to adjust yourself. You know, gladly or fortunately, the young generation like you people, they are not thinking about the other aspects of civil services. They are shedding their ego and they are actually working on ground. They are actually working with the people. So सबसे पहले, is this IAS exam a new exam? Is the civil services institution a new institution? Obviously, post-independence, it was called Indian Administrative Services because India actually came into being after independence. उससे पहले तो we were only a colony of the Britishers. उससे पहले we were already a very big region since the times of, let us say, Harappa. In Harappa, we have in Indus Valley civilization, we have some sense that there was a lot of uniformity. There should have been some political executive even in the Indus Valley civilization. जो Indus Valley civilization थी, वहां पर भी there was a lot of unity and universalism in enforcement. We do not yet know because we haven't able to decipher their script. So we don't know what was there, what was the system of governance there, but there must be something. ऐसा कुछ जरूर होगा which would be enforcing the various law and orders. Why? We can see a similarity in measurement. Measurement कहां पर? Measurement of a scale. The scale, the measuring scale which was found in Harappa, the same scale was found in Mohenjo-daro, the same scale was found in Lothal, the same scale was found in Kalibangan. तो जब तक एक सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी और उसके एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, मतलब हड़प्पन टाइम्स के आईएएस ऑफिसर जब तक वहां नहीं होंगे, you cannot expect that there has to be a uniformity and good governance. And we all know that Harappa was a very well governed city. Uniform urbanization thi. There was a system of seals. There must be a system of taxation as well. There was a system of religion, that you worshipped the forces of God and all that. Coming from the Harappa period to the next Mahajanpada periods, yes, the major reform which came in the civil services, yahan par we do not know. There must be, there might be. We are only assuming because we haven't deciphered their script. Coming to the times of Chanakya or Kautilya, he gave his famous theory, that is the Saptang theory. इस Saptang theory में he said that there are 7 vital parts of a state. एक state के 7 vital parts होंगे, and one of the most vital parts of a state is the Amateyas. That is the IAS officers of those times. They were the times of Mauryas, Ashoka, Chandragupta, Nandas, and Buddha bhi aaye yahan par and all those. Saptang theory mein, in ancient India, this was pre-ancient age, I would say. This is ancient India, Kautilyas and Chanakyas. Uske baad, the next big empire was the Mughals. Even they could not rule without the IAS officers, or even they could not execute their policies without the civil servants. So yes, they had an elaborate mansabdari system. इन सब लोगों का काम क्या होगा? Kautilya has elaborated, told you the role of Amatyas or the ministers and their IAS officers, bureaucrats in his Arthashastra. Arthashastra was a book of public administration and political science written by Kautilya or Chanakya. It has been inspired from the Dharma Shastras written by Manu or the Manu Smritis. So he has said that an IAS officer should be a wicked mind. He should be shrewd. Yes, he should be clever as a fox. He should be brave. He should be courageous as a lion. सोचिए, अगर अजीत डोवल डोकलाम क्राइसिस में चाइना ना जाते और वहां जाकर अगर वो डर जाते, अजीत डोवल, इंडियाज नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर, ही इज एन आईएएस ऑफिसर, अपने टाइम के कैडर, उनको आईपीएस मिला था, सिविल सर्वेंट रहे हैं वो. If he was not a valiant youth, he was not brave, how could he have negotiated the Doklam crisis with China with such ease? Both the armies, said that, okay, we are maintaining a status quo. The Doklam crisis of India, Bhutan, and China. Similarly, had Manmohan Singh not been a clever fox, had he not been a Lomdi ki tarah clever, would he have come over the 1991 balance of payment crisis when India had to pledge its gold to the IMF? हमें IMF को अपना सोना तक देना पड़ा उस वक्त में. So this is the valor or zeal or exuberance of the civil servant. He has to be, courageous as a lion, and he also has to be, apart from courage, he also has to be what? He also has to be intelligent or wit. He has to have a sense of wit as a फॉक्स, ये दोनों क्वालिटीज आपके सिविल सर्वेंट्स में चाहिए। मुगल्स के बाद द नेक्स्ट बिग एम्पायर केम दी ब्रिटिशर्स। यहां के एक आला अधिकारी थे लॉर्ड मैकॉले। He for the first time proposed that there has to be an imperial civil services through an open examination which would attract the best minds, जो सबसे होनहार minds को attract करेगी, which would attract the best minds, was given by the Britisher, was the British Lord Macaulay, जो हमारे यहाँ पर you see he was the architect, I would say, of the imperial civil services. We as Indians post independence adopted the same model of civil services. We adopted the same model post independence, which was renamed as Indian Administrative Services. I would say Sardar Vallabh Bhai Patel, he was the chief architect, or he was the chief front runner, torch bearer, that we need to adopt the same notion, the same architecture, the same model of the civil services, which was serving the British interests. Now, here comes the change, here comes the keyword, British interests. See, the circumstances now have changed. How have the circumstances changed post independence? Prior to 1947, 1947 से पहले, the IAS officers had to serve the British Raj. They collected revenue. Mansabdari Mughals, maybe they also collected revenue, and they were also responsible for the law and order situation, and they were also responsible for mobilizing the territorial army whenever needed. Similarly, in the times of Chanakya and Kautilya, diplomacy was an important part, warfare was an important part. So civil servants were the chief architect, they were the chief minds behind whatever strategy a country had to made, or an empire had to make in order to withstand itself or sustain itself. The overall governance administration Indus Valley में भी यही हुआ होगा, हमें नहीं पता, लेकिन हमें जो पता है मुगल्स के बाद ब्रिटिशर्स का जो टाइम था, they were only to serve the interests of the British Raj. They were not concerned with, what do we say, the development जो post independence हमारी need थी, that is the development of the nation plus the social justice. The Britishers were not at all concerned with these two particular aspects of civil services. They were not concerned with the development of India. They were not concerned with the social justice being offered or being incurred in our society. So this main issue, it led to, I would say, the colonial legacy of an allied civil service who was actually not grounded. That Babu culture penetrated from the pre-independence era to the post-independence era. So यहाँ पर बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो हमें अपनी इस टाइम के सिविल सर्विसेज के लिए रिमूव करनी है. There are a lot of reforms which are needed in our age-old, I would not say archaic system, because you see, this is not an archaic, this is not an outdated system, but yes, many portions of this system are actually outdated. This I would not hesitate to say. So, civil services, दो तरह की bureaucracy होती है. पहली तरह की is the temporary executive, दूसरी तरह का is the permanent executive. What is a temporary executive? An executive is that domain of polity which is responsible for execution of what? Execution of the laws made by the Parliament of India. जो हमारे पार्लियामेंट के लॉज हैं, उन लॉज को एग्जीक्यूट करने के लिए हमें एक इलैबोरेट स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए. दैट इज कॉल्ड द एग्जीक्यूटिव पार्ट ऑफ योर पॉलिटी. दैट एग्जीक्यूटिव इज temporary in the form of Union Council of Ministers. You see, today you have Modi ji as your PM. Yesterday you had Manmohan Singh as your PM. Tomorrow you may have some other guy as your PM. So this is the temporary executive, the Union Council of Ministers, which in India is also the representative of public. Why? Because they come out of the legislative. You choose your member of parliaments, and from those member of parliaments, the party which garners the absolute majority chooses some 70 to 80 people which will take away the various portfolios to serve you in various domains. That becomes your executive, but that is only a temporary executive. लेकिन एक और तरह का executive है जो ground level पर, which is the last phase of governance in your देश, that is your permanent bureaucracy. So let me just clean up this. Yeah. So IAS consists of your permanent bureaucracy, and now this IAS has to deal in changed circumstances post independence. It has to focus on development of a nation, जो अंग्रेजों ने बिल्कुल नहीं किया. It has to focus on the welfare of people, जो अंग्रेजों ने नहीं किया. That is the social justice. It has to go with the trends of the world. That is the LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. With that, it also has to tackle the new age technology. Let us say an IAS officer of 1980 cadre who will be serving in his last decades यहाँ पर 1980s 90s, जो अपनी services के last चरण में होगा. Today he has to counter what? He has to counter cryptocurrency. He has to regulate the cryptocurrency. For that, he has to tackle the blockchain technology. He has to know about the nuances of what is quantum computing or what is artificial intelligence or data is the new gold, data mining. वो फर्स्ट या सेकंड रेवोल्यूशन के टाइम पैदा हुआ था, सेकंड और थर्ड रेवोल्यूशन के आसपास पैदा हुआ था. नाउ देयर इज अ शिफ्ट और ट्रांजिशन टू द फिफ्थ रेवोल्यूशन. सो 2 इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशंस ही हैज सीन इन हिज लाइफ. सो पुराने तौर तरीके उनको बदलना मुश्किल है, बट ही हैज टू अडैप्ट टू द चेंजिंग नीड्स ऑफ द society. So this is also an important aspect of a bureaucratic persona. So since this permanent bureaucracy, this permanent executive of yours needs to change as per these circumstances, hence there is a need of reforms in the civil services. So if someone asks you that why do you need reforms in civil services, he doesn't ask you what are the reforms needed. He only asks you a small question, 5 marker or in an interview, कि reforms क्यों चाहिए. आपको gently ये points बताने कि sir, there are changed circumstances. Pre-Britishers bureaucrats were, tasked with something else. They were tasked with the, betterment of the British Raj. But now we are not up to the betterment of the British Raj. We are up to the betterment of the people of India, including social justice aspect, the welfare. There is, sir, post 1991 liberalization, privatization, globalization, there is an increasing role of technology, the tech part, the digital India part, the knowledge economy with respect to our civil services. ये सब चीजें भी उन्होंने बोला है. So moving on from evolution of civil services to the changed circumstances, our next topic, which is, I'll come back to the main core or crux of today's topic, that is the challenges. कि क्या हमारे यहाँ challenges हैं with respect to civil services structure. See, the first challenge, let us start from your attitude, from your personal attitude itself. It is status quoism. आप लोग पुरानी रूढ़िवादी चीजों में इंडल्ज्ड हैं और आप लोग बदल नहीं रहे हैं. You people are not changing, you people are status quoist. Then there are issues with regard to your selection process. Let us say there is a huge amount of discrimination between the English and the Hindi candidates. In the previous attempt, in top I think 200, एक या 2 साल पहले का स्टार्ट है, केडी सिंह जी की मैं, he is a famous personality there, so I was just listening to his interview. He said that in the top 200 there was no Hindi guy, there was no Hindi candidate, the most of them were English. हालांकि ये चीजें कुछ हद तक ठीक है, कुछ हद तक गलत भी हैं. आई कैन ऑल्सो स्पीक अगेंस्ट द मोशन, आई कैन ऑल्सो रेजिस्ट हिम कि ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. देयर इज अ लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड एंड लैंग्वेज इज ओनली योर मोड ऑफ एक्सप्लेनेशन और एक्सप्रेशन. Even if you write in Gurmukhi, in Punjabi or Kannada language, you do not have a disadvantage or an advantage against someone. So yes, the first and the foremost challenge in a civil service environment is status quoism. A civil servant is a status quoist. Now, what does it mean? It means he has had the habit of a particular bed of roses, of a particular cushion. He resists any changes. ये कोई भी बदलाव नहीं चाहते. He is wedded to his perks and privileges. He does not allow the outsiders. That is the lateral entrance into the various higher posts, because he is a career diplomat. He has a security of tenure. इसको अपनी नौकरी, जॉब लॉस की कोई भी फिक्र नहीं है. Hence he is a status quoist. चलता है एटीट्यूड कि जैसे चल रहा है चलने दो, मेरा काम सिर्फ क्या है, I have to just execute whatever orders I get from my superior political master. I do not have to be innovative. I will do what I am told to do. I will not do what I am supposed to do. ये कल्चर अंग्रेजों ने स्टार्ट करी. लॉर्ड डलहौजी ने बोला कि चुप करके जो मैं बोल रहा हूं वो काम करते रहो. मैकॉले ने बोला चुप करके जो मैं बोल रहा हूं करते रहो. कर्जन ने बोला चुप करके जो मैं बोल रहा हूं करते रहो. आज XYZ MLA MP says चुप करके जो मैं बोल रहा हूं काम करते रहो. So you don't want to change for good. The nexus of good. एक हमारे डिप्लोमैट हैं मिस्टर अनिल स्वरूप सर, the former coal secretary of India. He has started a big campaign called the Nexus of Good to help civil servants resist the unsolicited or the unparliamentary orders from its top political masters. उन्होंने एक Nexus of Good स्टार्ट किया है अनिल स्वरूप सर ने. So वो ये स्टेटस क्विज्म को टैकल करने के लिए ही है. He wants to bring good reforms in you civil servants. समझ में आ रहा है? So स्टेटस क्विज्म के कारण ही, क्योंकि आप अपनी पावर के साथ जुड़े हुए हो और आपने जो करना है आप लकीर के फकीर बने हुए हो. I also, that brings me to yet another point, that is I have become a rule book diplomat. diplomacy or bureaucracy. See, I am more interested to be confined in the four walls of a law. एक law है. I am more interested to be confined in those four walls of a law. Or law also means abiding by the law means following an order of a superior. मैं क्या चीज नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं जनता के बारे में नहीं सोच रहा हूं. Even if I have to help the people, not by breaking a law, just by sidelining a law or negotiating with the law or just fighting with the law, I am unable to do it. I'll give you an example. You are an officer. आप एक छोटे से क्लर्क हो, आप आधार कार्ड बनाने वाली खिड़की पर बैठे हो, आपका लंच टाइम 2 से 3 है. You are so rigid that even if it is 2.1, 2 घंटा 1 मिनट अगर सुई आगे निकल गई है, the clock is past 1 minute. There is an old man, he is a rickshaw puller, he is standing in abrupt heat, or there is a lot of rain, जहां पर वो खड़ा है अपना आधार कार्ड में, क्योंकि rickshaw puller does not know the laptop and all. He has to visit the physical that Aadhaar Kendra to get his Aadhaar card. Now you shut the window at 2. Why? Because you say कि देख लो जी टाइम लिखा हुआ 2 बज गए, अब हम 2 बज गए काम नहीं करेंगे. This is usually what we also experience in the banks, in the State Bank of India, जहां पर 11 बजे लंच टाइम शुरू होता है और 3 बजे लंच टाइम खत्म होता है. तो एक दिन तो लंच वाला उनका खाना लेकर आया, उसी को उन्होंने बोल दिया अभी लंच टाइम है बाद में आना. सो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर is fine, but you cannot be rigid so that you do not serve the public itself, because the purpose of the law is also to serve the people. And if you are so much indulged in the law that the popular service has been denied, then there is no use following that law. This is another more a malady of and there is another thing to it. If your senior or your political master does a particular error or does a particular mistake, passes a particular file, you would be resisted. What? To resist that person, to resist your senior. आप उसको जवाब नहीं दे पाएंगे अच्छे से. This also happens usually when you are a rule book or a copybook diplomat. Rule book or copybook diplomat. Third, I have been consistently mentioning the political part. Political interference. So what happens with political interference? I already told you, you are ordered to do what you should not do, or you follow the instruction what you should not do. You do not do what you are supposed to do. And then what happens? You are following the populism. And populism is temporary. In that you are inclined to serve your political parties or your political masters. That also breeds in corruption, inefficiency. Efficiency आपकी कम हो जाती है. That would also breed to social injustice. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you have to quote it in the exam or not. The Election Commission of India is supposed to be impartial. It is supposed to do what it feels for a free and fair election. But then you are the chief of the ruling party of India. You tell them that even if this is corona, even if there is a pandemic, even if there is a lot of disease or infection being spread, and that social distancing norms would not be maintained, you still further give a tick to the political rallies. You should have told in West Bengal that there will only be virtual rallies. सिर्फ politicians road shows करेंगे, उनके साथ कोई चेले चपटे नहीं होंगे, उनके साथ उनके followers नहीं होंगे, और माइक यूज कर सकते हैं. वो बड़े बड़े स्पीकर्स यूज कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज द ओरिजिनल इंटेंट इज नॉट टू शो ऑन टीवी that thousands of people are following us. The original intent of an election rally is to communicate your election manifesto to the Aam Janta of West Bengal. This is where you lagged. सोशल इंजस्टिस देख लीजिए, आज कितनी सारी डेथ्स हो गई हैं हिंदुस्तान में. India has become a deathbed. People are dying like flies and mosquitoes. You see, पहले शमशान में कतारें लगा करती थी, आज कतारों में जनाजे हैं. पहले जनाजों पर कतारें लगा करती थी. सो ये मंसूबे हमारे देश में फैल रहे हैं. Social injustice, complete failure of the constitutional machinery, be it the state, be it the center, be it the autonomous bodies like election commission. And why? Due to the political interference in their original expertise domain. Next, structural issues. See, very important. The structure of civil services means how the civil services has been structured. सिविल सर्विसेज को कैसे बनाया गया है, वो कैसे काम कर रही है, उसकी ट्रेनिंग कैसे हो रही है, उसकी अप्रेजल कैसे हो रही है, उसकी इंप्रूवमेंट कैसे हो रही है, उसकी कैपेबिलिटीज कैसे हो रही हैं. ऑल दीज इश्यूज कॉन्स्टिट्यूट द स्ट्रक्चरल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ योर सिविल सर्विसेज. योर रिक्रूटमेंट, योर ट्रेनिंग, योर प्रमोशन, योर रिमूवल, योर पोस्ट रिटायरमेंट, एवरीथिंग. See, the first and the foremost structural issue with the Indian elite civil services is a journalist, very important, versus specialist debate. You are actually trained to perform as a journalist, as your core function of maintenance of law and order, or whatever domain you are there. Let us say you are the DM of a district, or you are the DM of a nuclear power plant, or you are running ONGC or GAIL India Limited or whatever. ONGC विदेश आप रन कर रहे हो, या आप इंडियन फॉरेन सर्विसेज में हो. तो जिस डोमेन में आप हो, उस डोमेन में यू सिंपली एडमिनिस्टर, and you are guided by your seniors. आपको अपना खुद का कोई स्पेशलिस्ट एक्सपर्टीज यहां पर यूज करने का मौका मिल ही नहीं रहा. The Bharat Darshan is also the darshan of the various geographical terrains of India. You go to the Leh Ladakh, you go to Andaman and Nicobar, you go to the Western Ghats, वहां सेल्फियां ले रहे हो और आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे भारत दर्शन में. Your attachment to a higher officer in the district also means that you are going to the village, वहां आप local cuisines खा रहे हो and all that. So इतना कम भी नहीं होता, इतना आसान भी नहीं है, but the core functionality is maintenance of law and order of a particular district. You are appointed at a district level. Your domain is administrative. You are not doing anything special. For God's sake, if I give you the charge of Baba Atomic Research Center, obviously you will be guiding various scientists, you will be working with various scientists, या आप CEO बना दिए जाते हो किसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट के. नाउ यू आर MA हिस्ट्री, आपने पाली लिटरेचर अपना ऑप्शनल लिया, या आपने पॉलिटिकल साइंस भी अपना ऑप्शनल लिया, जो बहुत ज्यादा ओवरलैप करता है GS के साथ, और आपको लग रहा है कि बर्निंग है, करंट अफेयर्स है, डायनामिक है. यू चोज दैट ऑप्शन, फाइन. I am promoting this optional also because I teach political science. You will not have anything related to Baba Atomic Research Center because you have never read what is an atom. उसके न्यूक्लियस में क्या है, प्रोटॉन है, न्यूट्रॉन है, और उसके इलेक्ट्रॉन्स में कोई एनर्जी स्पेसिफिकेशंस हैं, शेल्स हैं. You do not know the Schrodinger wave equation. You do not know the dual nature of a particle. The particle can also act as a photon, the light energy. You do not know anything about the nuclear sciences. or you do not know, or you are, Coal India Limited के आप प्रधान बना दिए जाते हो. You again a bureaucracy. You do not know what is coal. You do not know that there are 4 forms of coal: anthracite, lignite, bituminous. ये 3-4 तरह के डिफरेंट कार्बन कंटेंट के हिसाब से मैं कोल्स को क्लासिफाई करता हूँ. पीट, लिग्नाइट, बिटुमिनस, एंथ्रासाइट. तो ये 4 तरह के कोल्स हैं. You do not know what is the meaning of destructive distillation or fractional distillation of petroleum, by virtue of which you extract various hydrocarbons. Petrol, diesel, paraffin wax and natural gas, ये different temperatures पर extract होगा. Because you are not an engineer, you are a master's in history and you took political science as your optional subject, or history optional, let us say. You do not know, you are not a specialist in your domain. You are only a journalist. So this is where the lateral entry comes into. कि मैं क्या करूंगा? At the higher levels of management, I would directly recruit you as a secretary at the highest decision making level. ऐसा हुआ है, बहुत छोटे स्केल पर हुआ है. Why? Because you journalists have been resisting the role of specialist. You say कि सर मैं 21 साल का था जब मैं तैयारी करने लग गया था, मैं 22 या 23 में मैं IAS ऑफिसर बन गया, 25 में मुझे मेरा परमानेंट डेपुटेशन मुझे मिल गया. I became a DC or a collector or a sub DC or a sub collector, whatever state I am placed in. और मैंने 50 साल अपनी नौकरी को दिए. और अब जब मेरा सेक्रेटरी बनने का टाइम आया, when it is my time to lead Coal India Limited or ONGC Videsh Limited, you are giving this job to another guy who is just a professor or a PhD. सर मेरी इतनी पूरी सर्विसेज का रिवॉर्ड मुझे कब मिलेगा? And who is the decision maker actually in the UPSC? UPSC ही रिफॉर्म करेगा सिविल सर्विसेज को, DOPT. But who are the people sitting there? It is you people who are ruling the journalist. You people who are journalists, you are ruling the UPSC. You're all civil servants. Why would you allow a specialist? You would term him or her as an out. And end result loss किसका हो रहा है? It is the people of India. भारत के लोगों का loss हो रहा है when these things happen, when a journalist takes over a specialist. Now there was another important article which was given to me by my mentor yesterday कि शुभम जी आप ये भी पढ़िएगा, आप ये टॉपिक जब डिस्कस करेंगे तो मैं I will definitely respect that as well. So there is another issue very well put by the article. I will also share that. I'll ask the management to share that. Do not worry. वो आर्टिकल बहुत ही उम्दा आर्टिकल है, न्यूज़पेपर से, शायद प्रिंट में से है या बिजनेस टाइम्स में से, I do not know. I don't remember. I just read it. Now he says is that you choose, let us say, 10 secretary level guys. Let us say there are 500 IAS officers who have been recruited by UPSC. Out of those, 10 people have come as an outsider from lateral entry. मतलब वो 40-50 साल की उम्र में ज्वाइन करे हैं. They have not appeared for the civil services exams. They have just come on the basis of their meritorious career. They have come on the basis of their merit. These people have also come on the basis of their merit, but they have written the UPSC exam. So these people are 419 numbers. So this is the ratio. 490 ये और 10 लोग. Now you are talking about inclusion of these specialists, but these are also people. If you can also inculcate some discipline in there or some domain or some specialization in their career, let him do PhD economics. जाने दो उसको King's College London, London School of Economics. Let him do his masters in MBAs or something. Let him study nuclear sciences because he is an engineer. An engineer also becomes an IAS officer. Even a doctor becomes an IAS officer. See, recently there has been an example in Delhi. A person who got the Indian Police Services cadre. he requested the government that now the government in the times of pandemic does not require my services as a policeman. It requires my services as a doctor. तो सर मुझे सर्व करने दो, आपके जो सीएमओज हैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट के, मुझे उनके साथ सर्व करने दो. मैं उन पर रोप चढ़ाने नहीं जाऊंगा, मैं वहां पर पेशेंट का O2 लेवल या बीपी चेक करने जाऊंगा. I would serve my country as a doctor because my country today needs me more as a doctor than as an Indian police service officer. मेरे देश को मेरी जो हुनर है उसकी ज्यादा जरूरत है. जिस चीज में मैंने स्पेशलाइजेशन किया है, मेरे देश को मेरी उस तालीम की जरूरत है. मेरे देश को मेरी वो 1 साल की तैयारी की जरूरत नहीं है जो मैंने पॉलिटी, इकोनॉमी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफिया पढ़कर जो मैंने एग्जाम क्लियर किया है. मेरे यूपीएससी रैंक की जरूरत नहीं है इस वक्त मेरे देश को. मेरे देश को मेरे हुनर की, माय कंट्री नीड्स माय मेडिकल साइंस प्रोफेशन नाउ सर, सो काइंडली लेट मी सर्व देयर. आई हैव फॉरगॉट द नेम, वी विल मेंशन दैट इन आवर करंट अफेयर्स. कहीं ना कहीं हमारे करंट अफेयर्स मॉड्यूल्स में या जो डेली हम सोशल मीडिया पर पोस्टिंग कर रहे हैं वहां पर आपको मिल जाएगा. सो not living up to, and do you think that these people would live up to the demands of a modern bureaucrat? I hope everyone has understood all this. इसको मैं अभी खत्म नहीं कर रहा क्योंकि जो मुझे सरोज सर ने आर्टिकल दिया था वो छोटा मोटा आर्टिकल नहीं था. I have to do justice with that article, वरना मेरी क्लास लग जाएगी. अभी तो मैं आपकी क्लास लगा रहा हूं. So second most important thing, professionalism. In that comes modern bureaucracy. Are you bureaucrats in tandem with the increasing technology aspect? See, you people might be. You people are always online. आज भी अभी भी आप online. But what about the people, the 80s and 90s guys? What about those guys? What about the guys who are 30 years into their experience or 25 years into their experience? They obviously are not such tech savvy bureaucrats. Why? Because, see, again, Pali literature, Kannada literature, Punjabi literature was my optional. GS 1, 2, 3, 4 I did. I scored wonderful marks and I became a civil servant. I have nothing to do with science and technology and even rationality, let us say. So yes, there is an important challenge in technological evolution, cyber security. You could be the DM, you could be the National Security Advisor of India, you could be Ajit Doval. But is Ajit Doval understanding the nuances of Hawala transaction through digitization or through cryptocurrency? No, I don't think so. He knows. I am glad if he knows. It would be wonderful if he knows, and he might be advised by some young bloods like you, young minds like you. But otherwise, is he in tandem with the technological evolution? Cyber security domain में क्या उनको वो knowledge होगी? A nerd of an engineering college, of a software industry, an outster by Infosys, जो Infosys से निकाला हुआ बंदा होगा, that tech savvy guy, he would be much more nuanced with the cyber security domain कि सर हैक कैसे किया जाता है कंप्यूटर को और हैकिंग से कैसे बचाया जाता है. He would be much more brilliant than a bureaucrat and IAS officer serving at the CDAC, जो आपके सारे NIC के जो आपके सारे सॉफ्टवेयर्स और वेबसाइट्स बना रहा है. So are you understanding? And the government websites are pathetic, minded. Very slow and very disappointing, I would say. They don't attract the people. अब देखेंगे जब आप फॉर्म्स भरेंगे, जब आप खुद गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट्स चलाएंगे. So yes, there is a huge mismatch between the position you are holding and the skill set you own. So Skill India mission. Let me ask you an interview question. Should the Skill India mission only be confined to the civilians? Why not the civil services? Yes, skill your civil servants as well, not just the citizens of India. Your civil servants also need, computer literacy or digital literacy or tech literacy, which they might not be having by virtue of their skills or their, educational background. उनको शायद वो चीजें नहीं आती होंगी, उनको मैकबुक प्रो पर नहीं आता होगा, वो कैमरे के आगे बैठेंगे वो कर देंगे. गिव हिम अ क्वेश्चन एंड 4 ऑप्शंस, ही विल सॉल्व इट. Tell him to write an essay on women empowerment, he'll write it. Can he tackle that? No. The position which he is in, the skill set which he possesses, there is a mismatch between the two. This is another point. Tisra, structural constraint. Yet another structural constraint is transparency and accountability. What is transparency? Transparency क्या होता है? Transparency is the degree of openness in services, in government actions, in government policies, in government initiatives. When every citizen of this country automatically is given information, let us say on website, कि हम PM cares fund को इस तरह से इतने तरह से चला रहे हैं, या इतना पैसा हमारे पास आया है और इतना हम आगे allocate कर रहे हैं, it means we are working transparently. What is the biggest tool in India, a revolutionary tool for transparency, enhancing the pardarshita of the governance structure? That is the Right to Information Act, RTI Act. RTI gives you transparency. But what about being transparent and there is no one to question you that ये हुआ तो ये क्यों हुआ? If by introducing transparency, I am not able to punish you, or I am not able to ask questions, or I am not able to hold you accountable for your omissions and commissions, then what is the use? So transparency has no virtue without accountability. Accountability नहीं है मतलब you cannot punish, you do not have a Lokpal, you do not have a Central Vigilance Commission, you cannot, you do not have an enforcement directorate, or you do not have CPI, you cannot arrest a corrupt public servant. Then what is the use of applying RTI? कागज काले करने की क्या जरूरत है? So without accountability, transparency has no worth, and without transparency, it is difficult to establish accountability, or it is difficult to hold someone accountable. When I do not know what is happening, how will I say what is happening is right or wrong? If I do not know, if I cannot see the internal politics behind whatever is happening, how will I say that this thing is right or wrong? And what about the accountability? These people are accountable not directly to you. ये जनता को जवाब नहीं दे रहे. IAS officers do not answer to the people of India. You cannot ask the coal secretary that why is there a coal shortage in India. आप ऐसा नहीं पूछ सकते. Or you cannot question the telecom secretary of India and go there and question him that sir आपने ये 2G scam क्यों होने दिया या आपने क्यों करा. You cannot ask him. They are actually answerable and accountable to their political masters, or the politicians, or the ministerial guys. So यहाँ पर भी there is a big issue. There is a big issue with respect to transparency and accountability, not just for your temporary executive, that is your Union Council of Ministers, but also with respect to your permanent executives, that is your bureaucracy or your IAS officers. अगला जो मैं आपका दृष्टिकोण जानना चाहूंगा जरूर जिस पर, that is the recruitment issues in structural challenges. Is my recruitment appointment centric? Is my cadre allocation rational? Do I have a growth in my skills during my training period? Is there someone who does not pass the training at Labasna, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of National Administration Academy, or Sardar Vallabh Bhai Patel National Police Academy? हैदराबाद एंड मसूरी, क्या ऐसा होता है कि मैं ये पास नहीं कर पाऊंगा? एवरीवन इज पास. देन डू आई हैव अ फियर of losing my job when I am lax in my attitude or when I am underperforming? And what is the definition of underperforming? Is it listening to the what is the definition of performance? Is performance only listening to the politicians, or is performance working for the actual people? So all these, and फिर हमने पहले किया था competency specific के अलावा, is there a lateral entry? When I recruit you people on the basis of arts and humanities, am I actually attracting the best minds of India? Or are all the best minds just under the age of 32? There may be some better minds even beyond that. हो सकता है मेरा माइंड ही डेवलप उस चीज के बाद हुआ जब मैंने अपनी पीएचडीज कर ली हो और आई हैव एक्सेल्ड इन माय रिसर्च वर्क. So am I attracting the best minds to serve the people of India? You might be intelligent, but are you actually equipped to represent India in a foreign country, Indian foreign services? You get that on the basis of the amount of essays you write. But are you that expressible? Do you express that well that you are allocated the Indian foreign services? Do you understand the nuances of foreign relations? Are you as courageous and witty as Ajit Doval? He was not an Indian foreign service officer. He was an Indian police service officer. Yet he is serving as the national security advisor, and he is a better diplomat across all the diplomats in our Indian foreign services. We did not send our foreign secretary to China to negotiate on the Doklam crisis, but we sent an IPS officer. So what was he doing in police services or in intelligence services? उसको तो foreign affairs में होना चाहिए था. I think we misused his talent because he had such a brilliant mind when he went and negotiated with China. The war clouds were hovering around us when there was a Doklam issue. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है. Senior levels per lateral entry. Then do you forecast the staffing needs? There are many posts which are left short. There is a plethora of Indian railway services. सारे के सारे में IRSC देख रहा हूं बनते हुए. रेवेन्यू सर्विसेज में काफी ऑफिशियल्स हैं, but there is a shortage in Indian police services. There is a shortage in Indian administrative services, and a single senior bureaucrat is holding 4,4,5,5 charges. 4,4,5,5 charges उसको दिए जा रहे हैं या उसको डोमेन्स दिए जा रहे हैं. आप ही एफसीआई से डील करो, आप ही बिजली बोर्ड के प्रधान भी बन जाओ, आप ही पीडब्ल्यूडी डिपार्टमेंट के चीफ भी बन जाओ, आप हरियाणा. सो देयर इज अ शॉर्टेज. टॉकिंग अबाउट नंबर 1 हरियाणा, you see, what about the recruitment in state civil services? This is the most pathetic aspect of our Indian civil services as a whole. This is the most pathetic aspect of our bureaucracy. See, first of all, there is a lack of transparency at the state level. State level पर बहुत गंदी ट्रांसपेरेंट मतलब है ही नहीं है पारदर्शिता. Why? हर साल क्या हो रहा है? हर साल पेपर लीक हो रहा है. We are constantly hearing news of mismanagement or misappropriation or corruption in the state civil services. Be it the Bihar civil services, be it my Haryana civil services, be it the Punjab civil services. Secondly, what about the pattern? What about the quality of exams? How can you expect a person to mug up that fact that how many villages are there in Haryana? 17,102, 17,103, 17,104 and 17,105. You cannot expect an IAS officer or an SDM or a DSP to mug up these facts. You test him with his analytical skills, not with his factual skills. This is not a paper. This should not be a paper of GK. And then there is corruption. ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं है, आरटीआई के अंडर नहीं है ये सब. You cannot reveal your marks. There is a lot of opacity in the way the marks are granted. Are they being checked? If the quality of the question paper framed by the state civil services exams is such poor, it is way lesser than the UPSC. Lesser does not mean the difficulty level. Lesser means the level of foolishness which has been inserted into the state civil services exams. So I'm highly critical of that lower. And you see, that is actually the real face of civil services which is shown to the public. जो लोगों को असली चेहरा आईएएस ऑफिसर का दिखता है वो डीसी की फॉर्म में कम दिखेगा, बट वो एक एसडीएम की फॉर्म में, एक ब्लॉक डेवलपमेंट ऑफिसर की फॉर्म में, एक डीएसपी की फॉर्म में, एक ईटीओ की फॉर्म में ज्यादा दिखेगा. You are inviting for corruption. If there is a corruption in civil services at the state level, I am not talking about the central level यहाँ पर. Please bear in mind, UPSC, fortunately, fingers crossed, has been working very well with respect to its overall ethical principles, the neutrality, the lack of political affiliations and all that, the transparency. UPSC has been maintaining its standards quite well. One of the best in the world, I would say. Our recruitment process, one of the most rigorous. But I will not say this about the state civil services, which is actually the real face, which is actually the last interface between the bureaucracy and the citizens of India. ये बात को ध्यान रखें. तो सिविल सर्विसेज रिफॉर्म्स में स्टेट सिविल सर्विसेज की अगर आप हाईलाइट करके बात करेंगे, यू विल गेट एन एक्स्ट्रा मार्क अपने आंसर में, आई एम श्योर. तो अगला पॉइंट जो मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा, so creeping mediocrity in the services, the training aspects. I already told you, जो training है, that is also archaic. You are only trained to eat well, you are only trained to drink well, you are only trained to wear that band gala suit, and you are only trained to perform, you are only trained to roam around in India. Yes, there are other aspects which should be included in your civil services curriculum. That is the code of ethics. See, there has been an overall decline in the moral turpitude in the society. Society का जो morality and ethics है, that has absolutely declined. We saw that in the days of COVID. You might be any criminal of this world. What you are doing is रेमडेसिविर के बॉटल में नकली स्टिकर लगाकर you are infusing glucose and salt water ताकि वो धुंधला दिखे, and you are supplying it. You have supplied 2.5 crore duplicate remdesivirs कि इंसान की बॉडी में जाए वैसे ही मर जाए वो. 2.5 crores. And remdesivir is the last mile delivery, last option when the person is actually on ventilator. His body cannot take a foreign substance or an impure substance like salt water, which you have been infusing in that remdesivir vials or that bottles. Similarly, see, even if you consider Delhi in the times of lockdown, for 10 kilometers, you will absolutely consume, petrol or a diesel of, let us say, $1,000 at max. At max, I am saying. ₹1 किलोमीटर की अगर आपकी एम्बुलेंस की एवरेज आए, माइलेज आए, तब भी आप ₹1000 का डीजल जो है उसमें स्पेंड करेंगे. You are charging, at the rates of $10,000 per journey to your hospital. If you dial on the ambulance services or the emergency service, where has the ethics and morality died in the land of Gandhi, in the land of Buddha, in the land of, let us say, Ram Rajya? No one has seen Ram, but let us say this is a Ram Rajya. Where has that Ram Rajya gone? Where has the ethics and morality gone? And an IAS is the mirror of the society. Because ये कौन लोग में से बन रहा है? ये आप ही लोगों में से बन रहा है. Just as the parliament is the mirror of the society, so is the bureaucracy the mirror of the society. You are not hiring bureaucrats from America or China or the ethical countries like New Zealand. In Singapore, when you travel through a bus, you do not have a conductor to check your tickets. You voluntarily shell out $1 and put it in that box till the amount of journey you have to go. In Netherlands, in Europe, many places, in Germany, in Frankfurt, you have to voluntarily buy your ticket. No one will ask you in that train that whether or not you are carrying your ticket. No one is going to ask you. But what about India? इंडिया में आप इतना ज्यादा एथिक्स और मोरालिटी कर रहे हो, एंड द आईएएस ऑफिसर्स हैव टू बी चोजन फ्रॉम यू पीपल. So I think it is the parent and the teacher who can do this. This reform cannot come from UPSC, the ethics and morality. It is from the family. It is from the teaching fraternity. All of you who are viewing me, हम सब में से ये reform बाहर आना चाहिए. The amount of ethics and morality we are infusing in the young minds. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata. Wherever the women are respected, there lies the vas of devatas. वहां पर देवता वास करते हैं. तो all these things, तो जहां पर सच्चाई होगी, जहां पर लेट अस से भगवान की पूजा होगी, स्पिरिचुअलिटी होगी, औरतों का वास होगा जहां पर, वहां पर you see the parent and the teacher. This was a famous term by APJ Abdul Kalam on ethics and morality, that the only two people in this world who can eliminate corruption are the parent and the teacher, and that to the mother, because when the mother is educated, the whole family is educated. If a man is educated, only he is educated. So code of ethics, very, very important when I inculcate the disciplines of civil services amongst you people. Then you see the recruitment has to be more inclusive. Inclusive with respect to India is a huge society, with respect to your religion, with respect to your caste, with respect to your economic status, with respect to your region. So are the minorities of India getting enough seats? Are the Jains, who are doing really well in their economic sphere, are they also doing well in the bureaucratic sphere or in the power sphere of India? I don't think so. As per their, as per their privileges in their economic domains, they are not performing as much as in their intellectual domains. Or let us say the same about the Muslim community when I read the Sachar Committee report. Similarly, caste, are the Dalits or the Adivasis or the tribals of India, are they into? I don't know. Are the poor people? एक चाय वाला पीएम तो बन सकता है, but can a चाय वाला become a DM? See, this is a very, very smart question to ask. A chai wala can become a PM in India. We know that. You see, he's become a PM. A chai wala has become a PM. But can a chai wala become a DM? क्या वो एक IAS officer बन सकता है? See, there are rare stories that, I was studying under a lamp on railway station, or my dad was a laborer and I became an IAS officer, or my dad was a rickshaw puller and I became an IAS officer. But that comes rare, in once in a blue moon. वो एक बार आते हैं सदियों में ऐसे एग्जांपल्स में जो रियल होते हैं, वरना मीडिया ज्यादा हाइप कर देता है. सो आई डोंट थिंक सो दैट. सो इसीलिए हमने इकोनॉमिक रिजर्वेशन अब दिया है. दैट्स एक्चुअली अ प्रोग्रेसिव स्टेप दैट वी आर नॉट रिजर्विंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कास्ट. नाउ वी आर इनटू द इकोनॉमिक मॉडल ऑफ रिजर्वेशन, status in the society, region. You see, if you consider the region, the regional bias is obviously evident. I do not think there are a lot of facilities with respect to your northeastern region. I'm not saying their mind is not good. Their mind may be far, far away. Their attitude may be far, far away. Their culture may be far, far superior than your culture. Their way of living, their closeness to the nature which is required in Indian forest services. एक IFS इंसान को नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जाकर सीखना चाहिए कि प्रकृति से प्यार कैसे किया जाता है. How to love the nature, the mother goddess, the mother earth. How do we love that? This can be taught, this can be learnt from the people of Northeast. I don't know how many IFS officers are there from the northeastern region of India. So that inculcation has not been seen with respect to the inclusiveness in the recruitment when I talk about the recruitment issues of civil services. Now, what is the way forward? You see, a big lecture on way forward I'll give you now. Half an hour I'll spend more on the way forward. I have just talked about the challenges, the deficiencies in our civil services environment or ecosystem, in our bureaucratic ecosystem. I will now talk about how can you improve. देखिए जो improvisations हैं वो deficiencies से ही आएंगे. जहां जहां आपको कमी लग रही है उन कमियों को दूर करने के लिए, if you know that where are you lacking, if you have understood this portion, the concluding portion easily, then you will obviously understand the next portion. So the way forward, that how should I tackle all the above deficiencies which I have been telling you with respect to the civil services ecosystem in India. See, first of all, there are a plethora of services which have been created, but which do not have any worth. Even in the railway services, there is a different railway police, there is a railway traffic, there is a separate IES services, railway engineering services, so many services. Similarly, there have been many posts for the postal services of India, Indian postal services, Indian statistical services. So many different services are there, but they have to be rationalized. You know, because the times have changed, postal services की relevance बहुत कम हो जाती है. Although you are doing it with the postal banks, आप postal banks में convert कर रहे हो, but that actually is the domain of the banking sector or the financial sector. It is not the domain. It should not be a bureaucratic post. This is what I personally have a viewpoint. So, in तरह की services को there has to be a rationalization. Rationalization of services. You cut down the extra or outdated posts, extra posts और outdated posts को क्या कर दो, कट डाउन कर दो. क्यों कट डाउन कर दो? जो जरूरी है, the required posts can be boosted up. जो vacant है, but we actually need them. The posts which are vacant but we actually need them should be given the priority when we are recruiting for civil services. See, now if you place the recruits in a central pool and ask them that, okay, now you are a PhD or you are a master's in atomic sciences or nuclear sciences from Punjab University, Chandigarh. I'll send you to Baba Atomic Research Center. You become a bureaucrat there. You can serve better in DRDO. You can serve better in the GEAC. You can serve better in the Medical Council of India. You are a doctor from AIIMS and you have cleared the civil services exam. You can serve better in the Medical Council of India. You are better equipped to serve in the AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education. You are a pedagogist. आपने MA ऐड किया है. You are a specialist in education. So you are better serving there. You will have better nuances of those pedagogical skills which are required in our education, school education, CBSE or ICSE. So I suggest creation of a central talent pool and allocating skill specific jobs. Obviously, this is being done in the private sector, so why not in the government sector? In private sector, if I have better communication skills, I would be placed in the reception. I would not be asked to serve water. मैं पानी सर्व करने के लिए, या फिर I would not be asked to do the accounts. I should have a finance degree or an accounting diploma to do the accounts, to tackle my accounts. A receptionist's job or an HR's job is different from an accountant's job. So central pool बनाया और उनको अपनी अपनी competence के हिसाब से, skill set के हिसाब से मैंने उनको job दे दिया. I should also allow you more time to switch from generalization to specialization. For example, 10 years of my life, I have served in urban districts of India. I have served in Delhi cadre, Agmut cadre में. तो मैंने urban governance में या architecture में मैंने अपना वर्चस्व जमा लिया. Now I know each and every nook and corner of a city so that I can better help with the planning. So give me the town planning department. Give me that department. Make me a chief of Huda Haryana Urban Development Authority or Punjab Urban Development Authority or Delhi Development Authority. I will be better equipped to serve there rather than sending me to a coal plant in Jamshedpur or rather than sending me to a Kudankulam nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu. Send me, keep me in that particular domain which I am expert in. Let me choose that domain after 10 years of my service. Till 10 years, you keep on, shifting me here and there. Uske baad, what you do is, uske baad, do not let me go left, right, and center. Do not give me in situ promotions just because I listen to you. Okay? So that is also an essential. Then create a lateral entry structure. Encourage it more. Create a civil services board for your reduction in political to reduce political interference. आप ऐसा करो, सिविल सर्विसेज बोर्ड की क्रिएशन करो जो ये काम देखेगा, किसी पॉलिटिकल मास्टर को या सीनियर के हाथ में मत दो. All these things. See, another point can be outsource more services. Outsourcing of services so that the services become citizen centric. Why? PPP, public private partnership. See, if my bureaucracy is not equipped with respect to the HR part, या technology part, give it to a private company. Tell them to hold online exams for me. If I myself, if NIC cannot manage my website, give that order to some tech company which designs a good website, which is hack proof. जो हैकिंग हैक ना हो. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस की वेबसाइट हैक हो जाती है, उस पर चाइनीज कैरेक्टर्स आने लग जाते हैं. यूपीएससी वेबसाइट हैज चाइनीज कैरेक्टर्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ यूपीएससी चाइनीज लेटर्स. व्हाट इज दैट? That is a shameful act of digital warfare. Tomorrow it could be, they could motivate all the they could modify all the aspects of recruitment and placement. वो आपकी आंसर शीट ही चेंज कर देगा या सर्विस रिकमेंडेशन लिस्ट ही चेंज कर देगा, उसी में डिफरेंसेस निकाल देगा. He could do anything. If the Chinese person can hack it, the Indian person can hack it. Anyone can hack it. So if I do not have that specialist domain, if I am not paripakva in that, let me give it to a private person with my stake, so that overall oversight I have. I will give the offset contract of specializing in that domain to another private entity. So that could also be. And this is where I also create a special purpose vehicle. What is a special purpose vehicle? I want to start a new project. I'll float in a vehicle, not in a sense of a car. I'll float in a corporate entity, maybe temporarily, till that purpose is being solved. मुझे एक पुल बनाना है, मुझे एक ब्रिज बनाना है. I'll propose or float a special purpose vehicle. I'll propose a short corporate company in which there will be, members of, let us say, JCB. There will be members of Birla Steel. There will be members of Coal India Limited. There will be members of Maruti. So there will be members of L&T, which will give me the toll plaza system. So all those members will be a part of that special purpose vehicle. They'll be doing their work till that special purpose has been solved. This is also a model of PPP. ऐसा करिए आप, सर्विसेज हैं बाहर दीजिए आप बाहर वाली कंट्रीज कंपनीज को. Then with respect to training, I already told you there should be induced a code of ethics training ke dauran, and there has to be a proper channelized way that are you doing well in your training. See, I have seen many eliminations in the IAS exam, but have we seen an elimination that a civil servant, that a person who has cleared his IAS exam could not clear his test as Labasna, or could not clear his test at Police Academy, Hyderabad mein? No, we have not seen that. So that also needs to be done. वो चीज वहां पर भी होनी चाहिए. Mid career exam and skill assessment is yet another issue. आपको अपने करियर के बीच में भी you need to keep up to the toes. जिस तरह से we are asking the teachers of continuous assessment, there should be a continuous assessment of the civil servants also. There should be a mid service assessment, and the people who are underperformers should be given a voluntary retirement or an early retirement or a compulsory retirement. कि भैया आप जाओ, we do not need your services, we do not need incompetent bureaucrats like you जो पूरे देश का नुकसान कर रहे हैं, because this is a public job, this is not your personal, not just your personal family will be affected, the whole lot of 140 crores Indian could be affected by your incompetence. So you have to be intact with the changing demands of your job, with the changing needs of the society. Evaluation, very, very important. Goal setting and tracking. Then you see, I will also incentivize. Incentivization. Very, very, very important. The good performers should be given more preference than the underperformers. Their performance is appraisal, because you see it gives you an incentive to work hard in future. When your good work, your hard work is appreciated, when your hard work is recognized, give him a service medal, give him a good promotion, give him that authority of working, give him that confidence, hone his leadership skills more, or give, infuse that enthusiasm that yes, if I work hard, he will inspire many more people, because we rise by lifting others. So a good bureaucrat should always be appreciated for his work. Ashok Khemka has been depreciated rather, for his integrity. So ये सब चीजें नहीं होनी चाहिए. You should spread positive examples. If a person is questioning your integrity, if you are a politician, you should not lower his demeanor. You should, in fact, the media has done that work. Media ने उनको hype किया है. Media has actually helped you people know that Ashok Khemka is an officer who has been transferred the most in his career. Why? Because he doesn't do what he is told to do. He does what he is supposed to. This question can be asked. The whole topic for today is relevant for two papers. Pehla is your GS2 and second is your GS. And that would be a cherry in your cake if you are asked an essay out of this. Obviously, interviews mein, you are often asked these questions. You are often troubled by your interviewers by asking you tough questions or situational questions. कि ऐसी सिचुएशन में आप क्या करेंगे? एक मिनिस्टर आपको करप्शन के लिए बोल रहा है, क्या वो आप करेंगे या नहीं? Can you also reform your civil services by more vigilantism? Yes, you can do. You can reduce the person-to-person discretion. You can induce the e-governance principles. You can reduce the bureaucratic red tapeism by virtue of online filing of all those single window clearances and all that, so that एक IAS ऑफिसर को आपकी साइट पर आना ही ना पड़े और वो जाने ही ना कि आप लालाजी हैं कौन जिससे मुझे पैसा मिल सकता है if I don't pass his fight. or there are maladies. So all these reforms, keep on updating your notes with respect to the core I have given you. I have given you a lot of masala. You can easily write a 200-word, 300-word answer, even write a 1,000-word essay. But then you keep on updating your notes with your current affairs. I will end this session here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed delivering it to you. Thank you so much.